Hi there, I'm Kevin O'Connor, and welcome back to Ask This Old House. If you've got a question about your house, we have got the experts who have the answers. Old house or new, inside or out, we'd love to hear from you. So drop us a line.
Hey, Kevin.
Good morning, Richard.
Hey, tough news about Roger, huh?
Yeah, that was unfortunate. But, right, if you can't do the time...
That's what they say.
So what are you working on?
Well, we got an email from a homeowner that had a shower valve inside the wall that was so loose, the pipes inside there were just rattling around. Just an accident waiting to happen.
Well, that's not good.
A lot of times, the biggest part of these plumbing jobs is how to gain access into the wall. So today we're going to show you how to get in there that any homeowner can do.
All right, well, for that, I'll stick around.
Right.
Hey, good morning, Tommy.
Good morning, Kevin.
How you doing?
I'm doing a lot better than Roger.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? Boy, I tell you, they sent him up to the big house.
That's what I guess.
What do they have him doing?
Got him splitting rock.
John and I have been in our home for just about a year, and we'd like to put a retaining wall in by the side of our home. And you'll see the stake and string, which marks where we'd like to put our retaining wall in.
Oh, I see that. It's going to hold back this banking.
Yep.
So we found all these big rocks down here. We rolled them all down the hill.
You dug all these out of there,
We did.
but you only brought them this far.
Well, that was far enough away from the wall for us.
What are you going to do with them now?
Project for another day, right?
Rainy day project.
Yeah.
Now, I noticed you call your utility locating service, and that's great because we have a gas meter right here. They came and marked out the yellow line, which represents the gas line, so we don't dig it up. And it's out of our way for the wall you're going to be building.
Exactly. But the big problem, which brought our project to a complete halt, was this big one, which we obviously couldn't manage to roll out.
But we don't know how big that is. This could be just the tip of the iceberg here. The rock could spread all the way around in here, or even this way and back into where you're going to build. But the good news is, if this is the face of your wall, we really only need to remove the rock to here.
Right.
I want to dig around the end of this rock, and I want you to go right here. You can start digging. All right? I want to do two things. I want to find out how big the rock is, and then it'll also help us to split the rock if we can get underneath it. Now, I'm not sure these are going to work, but this is what we're going to try first. We're going to use a series of feathers and wedges to split this rock. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to drill a hole down in the rock, insert the two feathers, and then put the wedge in. We're going to hit the wedge with a hammer, putting pressure on the feathers, and that should split the rock off. So what I'm going to have you do, Amy, is take this rotary hammer with a 1/2-inch masonry bit and drill a series of holes. One here, one here, one here, and another one there. We'll be good to go.
Okay.
All right?
Great.
So take the hammer. Eye protection, hearing protection. Yep. Go ahead. Okay, John, now it's time for the feathers and the wedges. Now, the first thing we have to do is blow the dust out, and just don't get it all in your face. Blow that out good. Really blow it out. Okay, that's good. I just want to make sure the wedges can go all the way down in the hole. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the feathers and the wedges just like this, okay? Going to drop them in the hole with a wedge right in the middle, and you notice that this is facing out to the edge so that when the force is put on, it's going to be put on this way. Okay, now just take the hammer, tap that in lightly. I want you to blow out the next hole. I'll give you some feathers and a wedge, and we'll put that one in the next hole. Perfect. Now tap that down in place. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, now the trick is to drive these wedges in, putting pressure on the feathers and popping the end of this rock off.
Okay.
So you're going to start this and work your way down and hit that in as hard as you can.
A couple times each?
You'll hear it. Go ahead. That's solid. You hear that?
Yep.
Okay. That one went in a little bit. Keep working your way down. All right, John, that's just a little piece that split off the surface. But if you look here, you can see a crack developing here and a little bit running down there. So let's work these two and see what happens.
All right.
All right.
Hold on one second. Now, those wedges are driving down all the way to the bottom. You can't hit them anymore. So what we're going to do is just put a bar in here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right? Now we got to get all our feathers and wedges out and start again. honest with you, this rock is getting the best of us. So where we did split some of the rock off, I'm going to take a sledgehammer and see if I can create some cracks in the rock.
Roger, looks like you're getting some of the bottom off.
Yeah, what I'm hoping to do is try to create a crack or at least release the feathers and wedges so we can re-drill some more holes.
How's it going? Any progress?
It's not budging.
Amy, let's review. The feathers and wedges just broke a couple little pieces off of the big rock.
And John with the sledgehammer?
I don't have the heart to tell him. The rock's winning.
Oh, no.
So I went out and got some heavy equipment for us. What I have is a diesel-powered air compressor. Now, that's going to send air all the way down this line and over to this rock hammer. Now, this rock hammer drives this bit. This bit has carbide tips on the end of it. And the drill pushes down and turns at the same time to make a big hole in the rock for us.
So it's just a bigger version of the drill we were using.
Right. And we also have bigger feathers and a wedge that we're going to drive down into that hole once we drill it.
So you sure this is going to work?
Absolutely not.
Oh, Roger.
All right, John, now it's time for the big wedge and the big feathers. So I'm going to take and put these feathers in here. You want to drop that wedge in for me? All right, now just take that little hammer, tap these down. Okay, that's good. Now it's set in place, but we're not going to use the hammer to drive these in. We're going to use the jackhammer to drive these in and split this rock.
Let's do it. All right, Roger.
We did it.
Look at that. We got a good crack right there. We'll get a bar, see if we can pop that out, get all our feathers and wedges out, drill another series of holes in it, split it once more, and I think we got it.
Oh, I see it splitting.
Big piece. Let's see if you can pop that piece right off.
Ready?
Okay, yep. 1, 2, 3. All right.
Rock's
Rock's
gone.
on.
We're ready to start the retaining wall.
You're on your own for that.
Oh, Roger, you've done more than enough.
You just couldn't do any more work, could you?
I was beat.
So where's the big equipment? How come you didn't get a digger in there and just rip that whole thing out?
Well, first of all, we had a gas line that was very close to where we would have been digging. The other thing is my gut told me that that wasn't a single rock. That was a piece of ledge, and that could have extended 10 or 12 feet back into the hill. I would have dug it up, made a mess, and not be able to move it anywhere.
Okay, so you turned to these feathers and wedges, and quite honestly, they were no match for the stone.
No. I usually use these when I'm shaping granite. I have a block of granite, and I want to break a piece off it, then I'll drill and use these. And they're easy to find at my local masonry yard, and they do a great job on granite, but they were no match for this rock.
So out with those, and then you called in the big equipment, a jackhammer, a huge wedge, these big feathers, and then of course that giant compressor, all the hoses. It had to be expensive.
It was a little less than $400 to rent. Now, that's picking it up myself. If you don't have a truck to pick it up, then you have to factor in delivery charges.
Still, $400 doesn't seem that bad.
I didn't think so.
So there's one other thing that I've seen, and I wonder if a homeowner could use it. We have gone to stone quarries, really big operations, and we've watched them drill some big holes, and then they pour in a slurry, almost like a cement mix.
Right.
They leave it in there, it expands. This liquid actually expands and pops the rock apart.
Right. And they take and break off huge chunks of granite.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Could a homeowner do the same thing?
They could with the same principle. Drill a big hole, put in the slurry, leave it there for 24 to 36 hours, and it'll keep expanding and eventually just crack that
But
rock.
you still have to drill a big hole, and I guess it's about the pressure building up?
That's right. And they say it can build up to 12,000 PSI. So that's a lot of force splitting that rock.
All right. But any way you look at it, it is still hard labor.
That's for sure.
All right, guys, here we go. As you can see, it's a series of cylinders. Up in the corner right here, there's a little valve for filling it.
Yeah.
Now, here's the hint, and it's probably going to give it away. It's 3.5 feet tall and 12 feet long. What is it?
That's going to give it away.
Great clue. I got it.
From that.
Yeah. Now, first time you put your kid in the pool, you got to put the swimmies on so he can stay afloat.
I hope so.
Well, what if you're a big person, you can't swim, but you want to play, have fun? Swimmies for big people. Take it, wrap it around. Yeah.
You got room for two in there, don't you?
Come on in.
Yeah.
Looks good.
Huh?
How's this?
Oh, yeah, you look good.
Two fools in a pool. Look at that thing. All right. Fellas, it is for the job site. And in fact, it's a compressor. Well, technically a bag of air. Because a compressor is really loud and you have to have electricity. Not with this thing. You got a couple valves down here, so you blow it up. Takes about 2 or 3 hours. Right? And then you get yourself a compressor hose, hook at the one end, hook the other end to your pneumatic nailer.
Yeah.
And then when you're ready to start firing nails, you find the biggest guy in the job site. And you say, firing.
That makes no sense.
Shoot a nail.
Be
Yeah,
careful.
okay.
You need safety on a job site. Nice guess, though. You know, say you're working up on a ladder.
You?
Yeah. And you're working with sharp stuff, you know, like a mason's hammer or even a level. And you drop it. You could hit something in the head. Or worse than that, you could drop it down and wreck the linoleum, the finished floor. Right?
Yeah, worse than that.
So now, imagine I dropped this from a high distance. Look at that.
yeah, nice.
It would keep that thing perfect. And if you fill this up enough, it could bounce all the way back to you.
That's your guess?
That's it, huh?
Stay in the basement.
Thank you.
All right, this is actually designed for hurricanes to protect the roof against high wind. You don't fill it with air, you actually fill it with water. And you put it on the roof. It adds about 30 pounds per square foot to your roof, and it protects the roof against high winds from the shingles ripping off. And they say it's designed to hold the roof on up to 125-mile-an-hour winds.
Wow. Swimmy for your roof. Oh my God! Richard, here's why we wrote you. We have a problem in our bathroom.
All right.
Ever since we moved in about 8 months ago, we've noticed that our shower valve has been loose.
All right, let's see what you got.
So, Richard, this is our shower valve here. And as you can see,
Wow, you weren't kidding.
Yes.
Look at this, jumping out of the wall. All right, well, what you've got here is a single lever shower valve. And that means there's a hot and a cold pipe that run inside the wall into this valve. And if this valve is moving this much, those pipes are moving, and that's not good. A couple things can happen. One is when you shut this valve off, the pipes can bang.
Yeah, we've heard that.
Okay? The other thing is if they're moving that much, the pipes could break sooner or later, and that's not good at all. Look at this. There's got to be water getting down inside that wall. All right? So for us, it's going to start by pulling this plate off. I like to use a rag to make sure nothing drops down the drain. I'm going to start by pulling this handle off. There's an index with a Phillips screw behind it. I just want to turn that counterclockwise. Okay. Now there are 2 screws that hold this plate on. Now we get the second one. Now the plate comes straight out. And now this plate. 2 more screws. Okay, let's see if that'll come out for us. Good. So there's our valve. Now, the reason that this opening is so large is that this is not the original shower valve. At one point, there was a 3 valve in here, which means there was a hot handle, a cold handle, and the middle handle was the diverter that decided if the water went down to the spout or up to the shower head. Somebody at some point changed it to this single lever valve. And when they did, they should have put in some blocking, some wood that went between these 2 studs. And once the blocking was in place, they could clip those 2 pipes to the blocking. That would leave the valve way back and tight so it doesn't come back and forth.
so what do we do to fix it?
Well, we could try to drive some wood wedges right down inside here to hold that valve back, but there's always a chance when you do that that the wedges could drop down into the wall because I can't really get any clips. And it's also difficult to get the wood back in there. And I don't really want to open up this tile anymore. So what's behind this wall?
Let me show you the closet. It's right through here. This is it.
Perfect. Great. This is right behind our shower valve right here with the 2 pipes. So we could actually open up this wall and get full access to the back side of this and secure it properly, but it means we have to open up the wall. Is that right?
That's okay, but are you going to cover it back up?
Oh yeah, we got just the right thing for that.
Okay.
All right, because we have access, I can actually drill a couple of pilot holes from this side. All right, we've got our marks where our hole is going to be cut. And normally I would have to patch this after the fact, but because we're in a closet, we can actually use this, an access panel. It's spring-loaded. We'll cover a hole up to 15 by 15. And when it's done, it'll look like this. Is that okay?
Perfect.
All right. All right, now I'm going to cut it with a keyhole saw. Keyhole should be running right down the inside of those studs. And now the other side. All right, I want a nice straight line at the bottom of the panel. So I just marked that. Same at the top. Back to keyhole. Now the reason I like using a keyhole saw is that I'm working around pipes or wires. I can actually feel it if I touch that pipe. If I had a reciprocating saw, a power one, I'd worry about cutting those pipes. Okay. There it is. And now we got some room to work. Now here's a piece of the blocking that I would like to get in between those studs so that I can clip the 3 pipes to it. But I really can't fit that in there. So what I've done is taken another piece of it and cut each of the corners off. Now that'll allow me to get it up inside there and then into position and tip it into place. Now I just need to secure it. And I'm going to screw that blocking into the studs and just hold back on it right there.
Okay.
Good. Now I'm just going to toenail the corner. Now you notice that I pre-drilled this blocking so it doesn't split. Now with these copper clips, we'll just secure the pipe to the blocking. All right, Heather, let's put that access panel back into place.
All right.
Now it's got a little spring clip at the bottom.
Okay.
Catch it, and I push it down just enough, and then I come back up. Hey, what do you think?
All right, great.
Now it's time to reassemble the valve. It starts with this plate. I've applied a little caulking to the back side of the plate for a watertight seal. Good. Now for the valve plate, I want to be sure no water gets behind it. So I like to put a little plumber's putty right around the top part of it. And that'll all squeeze out. And now the handle. Cover it with the index and clean up the putty. All right, guys, give it a try.
All right.
You can give it a pull. Go ahead.
Oh, that's really in there.
Not bad, huh?
It's like magic, Richard.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. So if you hadn't fixed that problem, how bad could it have gotten?
I mean, the most catastrophic would be that by moving this valve in and out and turn it on and off, that you could just break the pipe off inside the wall. Then you get full city water pressure, and that's not good.
Right.
But what I'm really most worried about is that this valve going in and out of the wall would allow water coming off somebody bathing to come right down in behind the wall and get down inside the wall and rot that away.
So a pretty simple problem, and in fact, a pretty simple solution.
Right.
It was really just a piece of blocking and a clip.
Right.
The whole story was about getting good access.
That's right. Now, access panels have been around for a long time, and we've always had these available to us. These are in metal. But these panels, you know, you had to frame a perfect opening in the back. And then there's a door that has a nice clip to it.
And like you said, this opening has to be exactly, in this case, 12 inches by 12 inches.
That's right.
So easy to do with new construction, a little more difficult with the retrofit.
A couple of different sizes. We use these both residentially and commercially.
Gotcha.
But this thing comes in, again, different sizes. And look how simple it is. I just want you to hold it up for a second. Now, we cut a perfect hole at that house because the cameras were watching. But say you didn't. You know, and you had an irregular hole like this.
Sure.
I want to show you from the back.
Okay.
So now you just come down and catch it at the bottom, push it down, and the 2 tabs at the top, you see that? The spring holds it back up. And you look at it from the other side.
Wow.
It's perfect.
Yeah, if you didn't know any better, you would think that behind there was a perfectly cut hole. So this hides all blemishes.
That's right.
Well, that is a nice fix. Thanks, Richard.
Okay.
This tip comes to us from Calvin, who writes us from Woodbridge, Virginia. And Tommy, he's been watching. He saw a recent episode where you talked about a whole variety of different hammers and their uses, as well as how you made your hammer slip-proof.
Right. I like to improve the grip of my hammer by simply drilling some holes in it with a paddle bit, and every now and then I sand it and clean it up.
All right, well, Calvin's tip was inspired by his old tennis racket. It's got a grip down here that's worn out, and so what he actually suggests is that you take a tennis re-gripping package and put it on your hammer.
Right. Here's one right here. This is a new grip, and you'd put it right around your hammer like that.
A little bit of adhesive underneath there?
Right. It actually improves the grip. It's cushioned, absorbs some sweat and some vibration.
So this one is called a re-grip because the thought is that you'd actually take off the entire grip on the tennis racket, put on a new one so it comes with some cushion.
Right.
But they've also got something called an overgrip.
Right. It's actually thinner. It doesn't have as much padding on it. So when you put it on your hammer, it doesn't make it really thick. And if you've got a hammer like this, for example, that the handle may be damaged or worn out, you can go right over that.
All right, pretty good solution. You can get them at pretty much any sports store, and 3 or 4 of them cost about $5 or $6. Not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea at all.
So, Calvin, for your great tip, we are going to send you a T-shirt. And if anyone else has a good tip, get in contact with us. Maybe we'll send you a T-shirt as well. Hey, guys.
Hey, Tom, I got a project for you.
Re-grip.
I need a lot of these.
All right, well, we hope you enjoyed the show. Until next time, I'm Kevin O'Connor.
I'm Richard Thuy.
I'm Roger Cook.
And I'm Tom Silva.
For Ask This Old House. Is that a
That's a wrap.
If you have a question about your house or a tip you'd like to share, please let us know. Visit our website, pbs.org, for expert advice, step-by-step videos, and much more. Next time on Ask This Old House, Roger provides perfect pitch to a wrecked walk.
So today what I want to do is something called mud jacking. And it's where we take a concrete grout under pressure and inject it under the walkway, lifting the whole concrete slab up.
And the guys ask, what is it? That's next time on Ask This Old House.